Hey tribe and Thailand family, in this video we're going to have some fun because we're going to discuss a question I get from time to time around how much does it cost to live in Thailand. And usually I'll get a budget around 1,500 from people. Like people reach out to me, they want to retire in Thailand. Sometimes they're looking at White Hen because I used to live in White Hen for a year and a half. And I think that's kind of I don't know if they find it online. I know with other channels, that's kind of what they tend to say, about $1,500 a month. And this particular guy that reached out to me, he asked about $1,500 a month, plus he had around probably 100,000 pounds in savings. So he asked, is this enough to really retire and live in Thailand? So that's what we're going to discuss today in this video. And before we dive into this concept, a couple things here. One, I am not going to give you a budget breakdown in this video. I'm going to try to talk about things that most channels don't share with you. Okay, that's number one, because I've been doing this stuff for a long time. Okay, and number two is in the description, I'm going to attach maybe 3, 4, 5 different videos. I did do a budget video when I used to live in White Hen, so I'll attach that one. I'll attach my condo videos, like what to look out for. The only disclaimer here is I tend to be long-winded when I start talking about stuff because I really try to help you guys out as much as I can. And I really try to give you advice what most YouTubers don't give you. So I apologize up front if my videos are long-winded, but you've been warned. Okay, so what about this question here? Is $1,500 okay? Can you live on $1,500 in Thailand? And in the first half here, like most YouTubers answer it kind of broad. And they are correct in one way when they tell you that your budget can be anything in Thailand. Okay, which that is true. You know, I know people here, and they don't do it very long, but I know people here that live on $600. You know what I mean? It's pretty rough. You have to understand, it's a poverty wage, but it can be done, okay? So it's not like other YouTubers, to keep names out of it, it's not that they're lying to you, but it can be done at a very, you know, $600, $800, $1,000, $1,500. Now, $1,500 is getting closer to the okay range, but what you have to understand really fast, what I want to point out is a couple things before we get going. Is one, if you have a savings, you come here, you really want to come here, you really want to live in Thailand for 2 or 3 years, just in my opinion, before you buy anything, before you think about buying a condo, buying a house. And that gives you plenty of time to really learn the life in Thailand, to learn the ins and outs, to listen to these types of videos, to talk to people who have more experience than you. And that way you don't make mistakes. Okay, because that being said, no matter if you come here with $100,000, no matter if you come here with $500,000, okay, if you don't have standards and boundaries around certain areas of your life, aka women and Thai girls, you will bleed, literally bleed through that money crazy fast. Okay, because this is a trap that most men fall into. Is they come to Thailand, they hang around these red light districts, they hang around the bars, okay, they hang around the women, and the women, they all have a sob story, and guys come here, they get roped into it, they come here and they think, I can save them. I can save them from being a bar girl. I can save them from being a freelancer. But you have to understand is most, if not all of them, don't want saving. It's a lifestyle here. you got to get that. You're not going to save them. It's a lifestyle. Okay, they're scheming you. They just want money. That's all they want. Most of the time, you pay them money, they just turn around and give it to the Thai boyfriend or Thai husband. Okay, you don't have to trust. You don't have to take what I'm saying as truth. Okay, but when I lived in White Hen for a year and a half, all these guys that were retired that I hung out with from time to time, they all had Thai girlfriends. But they were paying their Thai girlfriends to be with them. So lots of times they were paying 15,000 baht a month. And you know what I mean? Like, you know, you're paying for a girl to stay with you. You know, it doesn't make any sense. then when they come up to their village, like right now, I'm in Surin, I'm in a Thai village. I can tell you some stuff right now. Okay, even this house over here, boom. Thai girl lives over there. She's around my age. She has a Flong husband and a Thai husband. So when they come back to Thailand, the Thai husband stays down in Hua Hin because he doesn't want to come up to the village because it's boring as fuck. So there's nothing to do. He wants to stay in Hua Hin. So she tells him, oh, I'm going to go up and visit my family in Surin. But she goes up and stays with her Thai husband. You know what I mean? So you're giving their money. They're turning around lots of times, giving it to a Thai man. So I'm just telling you. You don't have to believe me, okay? So the long story short with this one is you have to have strong standards and boundaries. That what you're going to put up with, what you're not going to put up with. You can't fall for the money schemes. And everybody I've talked to, even myself, you fall into it, once or twice. Okay, now maybe you don't really fall for it, but you get someone asking 100%, okay? So, and you have to understand, a lot of guys, a lot of Flong lose everything here, okay? You can't sue them. You can't do anything. You basically just lost everything, okay? So, other than that being said, let's kind of move on with the budget stuff we're going to talk about. Now, is $1,500 enough? Yes, it's enough, but it's not enough to live like a king here. You understand? Another thing you have to understand is with Thai, I don't know how this Thai wage gets out there or gets popular. Like most of the time when you talk to men, they'll tell you like, oh, the average Thai person makes 10,000 to 15,000 baht a month. Okay, that's a lie. That's an outright lie. They don't even know what they're talking about. Okay, seriously. I mean, I could bring Ang out here right now. She'll tell you what the average middle-class Thai person makes. Okay, so what you have to understand, a Thai local that's making 10,000 to 15,000 baht a month is considered poor. Okay, that's a poor wage. Okay, if they're making 10, 15, 20,000 baht a month, I even throw it up to 20,000. What that should tell you is they didn't graduate high school. They dropped out of school. They didn't finish school, so they can't get a job anywhere. Okay, the only jobs that they can take is, building the cement walls, working in the sun. There's some factories that will hire them, but they won't pay them very good because they didn't finish high school. You understand that? That's why all these girls, most of them anyway, that's why they work in the red light district, because they have no choice because they didn't finish school. Bottom line, that's the truth. That's the truth right in front of your face. So how much do Thai people really make? And listen, a middle-class Thai, this is going to scare you a little bit. A middle-class Thai is going to make anywhere between 50,000 baht to about 100,000 baht a month. 100,000 baht a month is about $3,000, okay, to put it in perspective for you. That's how much a middle-class Thai makes, my friends. Okay. So you have to ask yourself this question: is you're coming to Thailand, you want to retire here on $1,500. Okay, maybe you have a huge savings, maybe you sold your place back in your country, you're thinking about buying a place here. Probably a middle-class Thai girl, I'm not even talking about wealthy, a middle-class Thai girl is probably going to want nothing to do with you because they make more money than you. Okay, now I'm not saying there's not love at first sight. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm just, it's the same dynamics here in between girls and guys or whatever you're into as your country. Okay. And another dynamic you have to understand is middle-class Thai, middle-class and wealthy Thai do not associate at all with poverty Thai. Okay. You don't have to believe me again. They don't associate. They don't shop where poor people shop. They don't go where poor people go. They don't hang out where poor people hang out. There's just what you have to understand with Asia, not just Thailand, Asia, there's huge classism here, okay, among the locals. Okay, you will not see a middle class or wealthy Thai go buy a Thai tea from a street vendor. You won't see it. You don't see it all. You just see poor. Okay. But even up here, even up here when we came up to Surin, and I got out of the tourist areas, you know what I mean? I really saw it up here. We would go buy Thai tea. We would know these street vendors that made really good Thai tea. But one of the things I started noticing, it was just like all poor that came and bought Thai tea there. It was like 20 baht. Okay, 20 baht each. You know what I mean? And then from time to time, Ing and I, we would go to Amazon Cafe, get a caramel macchiato. You know, I would get an espresso or something like that. She would get a green tea. And you start noticing it with your own eyeballs. It's like, well, when I sit at Amazon Cafe, I see not one poor person walking in Amazon Cafe. All I see is middle class and up sitting at Amazon Cafe. You don't see middle class and wealthy walking around street markets buying street food. You don't see it, okay? Now that might sound rude, but it's the truth, okay? When you live here, you're gonna see it. And the reason why I'm sharing this is that, you know, when you come here, retire, you live here, you're gonna get caught up with a girl, 100%. And that leads into family dynamics, Thai family dynamics, okay? Now, Thai family dynamics are, if they're poor, they didn't go to high school, they dropped out of high school, you know what I mean? The only money they can make is working in a red light district. Use your imagination. What I mean by red light district, okay? Your imagination is probably going to be pretty accurate than what I would tell you on YouTube. I could probably tell you a little bit more, okay? But what you have to understand is when you marry a poor, what's going to come with that is you taking care of their poor siblings that are poor, okay, brothers and sisters that are poor, their mom and dad that's poor, you know what I mean? They have their siblings, their brothers and sisters have kids. You're gonna be taking care of them. You know what I mean? That's the dynamic that's gonna come with that. That's why I'm saying it's you know, lots of times it can be money. My sister wants to borrow money. My sister needs money. My brother needs help. His son's going to school, needs school money. You know what I mean? Another dynamic that you really see, I didn't really see it. I knew about it, but I didn't really see it until I really came up to Surin, the village. And this is a poor village. Okay, there are some middle class Thai that live around here. Okay, but you see just, I don't even know what the percentage is, you know, just a huge amounts of alcoholism. And then, I mean, like poor Thai, all they care about is Thai whiskey, coffee, beer, gambling, those 4 things. Okay, they'll buy those 4 things before they buy food for their family. You understand that? They buy these 4 things before they send their kids to school. They're sending their kids to school with no lunch money. Okay? That's why you get into this mess, because you're literally going out with the wrong Thai girl. You're not going out with middle class and above. Okay? You're not going out with a wealthy girl. Okay? Because if you're going out with a middle class and above, her family's middle class. You understand? Her mom and dad went to college, or teachers, whatever. They don't need financial help from you, okay? Because they're already stable. They don't need anything from you. That's why I'm telling you this information, okay? And it might be a long, flippant answer to your questions, but that's why guys get caught up into this rodeo of money, giving money. You make excuses for it. You think you're saving them when it's just a scheme. You know what I mean? You know, if they're not doing it to you, they're picking somebody else to do it to. You have to understand that. Now, let's really get to the budget. Now, when I lived in Hua Hin, my budget in Hua Hin is about $1,500. Okay. Now, it's really going to depend upon what your rent is. It's really going to depend upon that. Okay. My rent in Hua Hin was about $500 a month. Usually 500 paid my rent, the water, and electric. Okay, maybe it would be 550, something like that. But when I paid 500, 550, that pretty much paid those three things. I pretty much had $1,000 left over. So depending upon the ratio, the Thai baht going up and down, usually $1,000 can be in between, 31,000 baht to 37,000 baht, give and take depending upon when you come in. Okay. Usually around high season, I've been here for 4 years. So usually around high season, the Thai baht is weaker. And I've seen it every single year. The Thai baht gets weaker around high season. Then the Thai baht gets, is it weaker or stronger? The Thai baht's lower. So maybe the Thai baht is stronger in high season, meaning you don't get as much for your money. Then in rainy season, you get more for your money. Okay. I'm trying to say that properly. So after I paid my rent, I had $1,000 left over. So that $1,000 paid for everything I wanted. It paid for groceries, going out to eat. If I want to go out and get a beer, going out, having a good time, it paid for everything. Now, this is why I say like $1,500, depending upon your lifestyle, isn't going to be enough. Okay. Just to be honest with you, depending upon what you want to do. Okay. If you want to live the high life a little bit, I would probably say you need about $3,000 a month to live in Thailand. To pretty much like do anything you want. You know what I mean? If you want to go out every weekend, you go out every weekend. Okay. Because there's gonna be months you go to the dentist, you have extra expenses. I have a motorbike, so I have to fix my motorbike, get an oil change, replace the tires, whatever, replace the spark plugs. There's gonna be extra expenses that come with that. But on top of that, what a lot of people don't tell you is why I'm kind of giving you a big number, is because when you live in these tourist hotspots, are a little bit pricey. Okay, you live in Bangkok. Bangkok is pricey. Okay, more pricey in these Thai villages. Okay, we live in Hua Hin. You live in these hotspots, it's going to be more pricey. You live in Jom Chien, these hotspots, it's going to be pricey. Just like if you run over to Dang Nang, Vietnam, you live in the hotspots of Vietnam, it's going to be pricey because it's mostly for long running around. You know what I mean? Spending money, spending big money. So what you have to understand is, like, you're going to get, from time to time, I'm a little bit different when it comes to food. I like to try food from different cultures and stuff like that. I have friends that are not like that. You know what I mean? But they go to the Philippines, they're literally eat US food, fast food the whole time they're there. I have friends like that in Thailand. Okay. They don't like Thai food. They won't even try it. They want their food from their country. And if you're like that, what you have to understand, what sometimes people don't tell you, is if in Thailand, if you want Falang food, American food, listen to this, it's usually the same price that you would pay back home or more expensive. Okay, if I go to Big C, if I go to a macro and I buy Falang food, most of the time it's more expensive than what I would buy back home. You understand what I'm saying? So that's going to bring up your budget, depending upon what you eat, what you want. You want to go out to nice restaurants all the time, or Falang restaurants where you're eating steak and pizza and chicken, or going out to Mexican or whatever. They're going to be more Falang prices. Okay, now some of them are still a little bit cheaper than what you would pay in your country. Not a lot cheaper, but a little bit cheaper. But literally, guys, sometimes I pay the same exact price. If there's a place in Hua Hin that Ang and I would go, and they served awesome burgers. Because I would be in a mood. I'd be in a mood like, dude, I'm craving a flipping burger, And their burger would cost, if it was me and Ang, just a burger, not even fries, just a burger would cost 250 baht. So it would cost like sometimes 500 baht just for me and Ang. So 500 baht is, $15, depending upon, 15, 20 bucks for 2 burgers, $10 each, pretty much, almost. So that's what I'm saying, is like, that's where prices can really kind of kind of shoot you up, and you can kind of eat through your money faster. So those are the things I kind of want to throw out at you. I mean, you're gonna have your expenses, like if you have health insurance, medical insurance. If you buy a motorbike or car, you have motorbike or car insurance. Some advice around that: you have to read the fine print. Okay, I really mean this. You have to read the fine print, because if you get in an accident, they won't pay out. 100%, they won't pay out if you don't read the fine print. Because a lot of these, I'm not saying they're scams, but a lot of these motorbike insurances, car insurance, if they know you're full on, you're paid for it. You find it out when you get in an accident. A lot of people, most people drive motorbikes here. Then they get motorbike insurance, okay? But the fine print, not in all of them, but in some motorbike insurances, is if you get in an accident, they want a copy of your country's driver's license, okay? So they take a copy of your country's driver's license, and if you don't have a driver license that you can legally drive in your country, your insurance will deny you. Motorbike insurance. So how it works is, like, I'm from the United States. That means on my license in the United States, I have to have my motorcycle endorsement. It means I have to be able to drive a motorcycle legally in the United States for the motorbike insurance to pay out. You know what I mean? It's in the fine print. They just don't tell you. Now, not all insurances are like that, but I'm just saying, it's something else to look out for. But this isn't about really insurance and stuff like that. That just kind of came to my mind to kind of share with you and stuff like that. But like I said, like, when I lived on $1,500 here, I mean, it's still a little bit. $1,500, let's say it's 50,000 baht. Okay, so you're kind of living kind of on the lower end of a middle class Thai. Okay, at 1,500. And I mean, just to kind of give you a realistic ballpark, that's how much maybe a lower class Thai would live, because on a lower middle class, they're going to make 50,000 baht at work. So yes, 100% it can be done. Now, if you're comparing a Thai versus you, okay, even if it's a middle class Thai, even if it's a wealthy Thai, a wealthy celebrity, if they're Thai, I mean, honestly, they're still Thai. I mean, they're still going to get Thai price no matter where they go. You know, they're not going to be overcharged and stuff like that. So that's a whole nother thing we got to talk about when we talk about the budget here, is no matter how long you've been here, either you'll notice it in the very beginning, you're going to be overcharged. No matter how much you try to stay away from it, it's going to happen from time to time. You know, it doesn't happen to me a lot, but it does happen to me time to time, that when they overcharge you, now I lived in Los Angeles. So I lived in Los Angeles for 18 years. And I lived near Beverly Hills. So I lived in a wealthy area of Los Angeles. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? So I lived in Phuket for 1 year. I lived in Hua Hin for 1.5 years. So when I lived in Phuket, Phuket was literally almost like Los Angeles price, my friends. I mean, when I lived in Phuket for 1 year, I spent almost $3,000. I spent almost $3,000 a month when I lived in Phuket. And I was living modest at 3,000. You know, now granted, during that time, I did resort living, so it was a little bit more expensive as I lived in a resort. But still, I mean, when you went out for a beer, you know, a beer was like $5-6, just a normal size beer. You know what I mean? In Thailand, Thai brand. You know what I mean? I'm not drinking anything special. So that's why I tell you, you know, you kind of have to prepare for that. That, you know, you being a Phalong, you're not always going to get Thai price. You have to live with that. You have to come to terms with that. Okay. And even up here, I do have a funny example for you. A really good example. I'm trying to hit it to the point. I mean, really quick. But when we first came up to Surin, we came to Surin because Ang's dad wasn't doing very good health-wise. We really thought that he would probably maybe have only 1 year left to live. Not, don't really want to say that out loud, but when we came up here, his health just totally turned around because Aang was here to take care of him and stuff like that. We were buying good food, and so his health really turned around 100%. Okay, no joke, no lie. But one day, no, I was working. I was busy at work. Aang, Guy lives up here. That's Aang's nephew. He goes to college up here. So, and his dad works down in Bangkok. So Aang's sister called up and said, "Hey, can you take Guy to get glasses, to get his eyes checked? He needed to get glasses." And her sister already knew the price. It was 1,000 baht. So listen to this. It was 1,000 baht to get his eyes checked and get the glasses. It included everything for 1,000 baht. 1,000 baht is like 30 bucks. Okay. So all Aang had to do is go with Guy, get his eyes checked, pay for the glasses, and leave. Okay, right before Aang was leaving, she asked me, "Hey, Chad, do you want to come along?" At first, I wasn't going to go, but then I thought, well, I kind of want to take a break from work. So sure, I'll go. I think you know where their story is going. So we go in there. I'm chewing gum. I apologize. We go in there. Guy gets his gets his eyes checked. Okay. We literally sit down. She sits down with us like a salesman. And we're getting all ready. Aang's getting all ready, thinking it's 1,000 baht. Because her sister already told her, called and everything. She knew it was 1,000 baht. It was 8,000 baht. 8,000 baht. Because I walked in there, I was with Aang. Went from 1,000 baht to 8,000 baht. Okay. 8,000 baht is almost 300 bucks, guys. Maybe $250. That's like me buying glasses in Los Angeles. You know what I mean? So, and they're kind of cheaper glasses at that. So, of course, we didn't pay. Okay, we left. But what the kicker was, we waited for a month. Her sister came up, and they took Guy by themselves. I didn't go. And when they went by themselves, they got it for 1,000 baht. You understand? Like you have to understand this. Like when they overcharge you, they flip and charge you like you live in New York, Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, Sacramento, Florida. You know, they're not charging you like you live in the Midwest. And this is why I disagree with a lot of channels, because most of the time, a lot of channels on Thailand, they really compare Thailand to the most expensive cities in the United States. They compare Thailand to New York. They compare Thailand to California, or Los Angeles, or Sacramento, or compare Thailand to Florida, and to make Thailand look cheap. You know what I mean? But if we compare Thailand to the Midwest, Thailand can be more expensive than the Midwest. I mean, give and take on certain things, certain scenarios, just because you're overcharged. You understand? So you got to put that in your budget too. You're going to be able to go places and stuff like that they're not going to do it. They're not going to overcharge you. That's why a lot of Phalang, when they shop, they tend to shop at the malls, the Lotus, the Big C's, the Macros. You know, they shop places where the price is right on everything, so they don't feel like they're being ripped off. But it's going to happen from time to time. You understand, my friends? You know what I mean? Most of the time for me, most of the time it don't happen. And when it does, it's just like, you know, it's my choice. If I want to pay for it, pay for it. If not, walk away. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. But it's something that you gotta just accept. You understand? And it's going to happen. And the whole time you live here, you're treated like a Phalang. Okay. You understand, my friends? But as we wrap up this video, I know this video kind of went different than I expected, because I was just kind of sitting down talking. Wanted to share some different concepts with you, you know, about the budgets and stuff. But yes, you can 100% live here for $1,500 a month. Kind of to rephrase it a little bit, it's really going to depend upon what your rent is. Okay, you can pretty much find something in between. A really nice place, by the way. between 300 to 500 bucks. Most of these places, most of these condos are not worth beyond $500, just in my opinion. Just in my opinion, they're all these flipping condos. When I'm talking about the condo room itself, all these condos are Thai style. They come with no kitchens, no washer and dryer, no dishwasher, no flipping stove. You got 2 camper burners in there. You know what I mean? They're made really cheap. No Thai person is going to pay $500 to stay there. You have to understand that. You know what I mean? I mean, that's a ridiculous price for a Thai local. And no Thai local is going to pay that. Okay. I mean, I know Thai locals that rent a duplex. Listen to this. They rent a duplex in some of the best areas of Bangkok and only pay 10,000 baht a month. So it's really going to depend upon what you pay in your rent. If you pay $1,000 in rent, well, 1,500 isn't going to be enough. Makes sense? If you pay 300 or 500, 1,500 is totally doable. And you can pretty much, with that extra $1,000, you still have to be careful somewhat, but you can pretty much kind of almost do anything you want. Now with me, I didn't go out every weekend. No, Ang and I went out. We would go out maybe once or twice. And on top of that, we would go out, maybe once a week, twice a week to go eat out and stuff like that. So I wasn't living this extreme lifestyle. I was kind of living a normal life here. You know what I mean? So $1,500 would work, but it wasn't such a strict budget for me. Like if I needed more money, I just transferred more money because maybe we went to the dentist. You know what I mean? Something threw me over. Like all the extra stuff is going to throw you over. Like last year, for example, I did this almost in 1 month. I upgraded my computers in Thailand. So I have an office in Thailand and an office in the United States. I bought new mics, like on my computer station. I bought a really good pod mic that's attached to the computer. You know what I mean? Like if you do anything like that, it's going to throw you over budget. You know what I mean? If you go out and go clothes shopping, if you buy a shirt here and there, it's not going to throw you over budget. But if you wake up one day and you're like, shit, like my old wardrobe looks old as fuck. That might throw you over budget if you got to go, buy some clothes. That's another thing too, that when you go to the malls, if you go to the actual stores, I mean, it's clothing, shirts and stuff like that. It's literally almost the same price as your country. Like if you go buy a shirt, you can spend $50. It's 1,500, 2,000 baht for a t-shirt. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that are just really the same price or very, very close to it. Okay. Now, a lot of these malls, if you go down in the bottom, they'll have like shirts for 100 baht, 50 baht. They'll have pants for 100 baht. They'll have shoes for 100 baht, 200 baht. But what you have to understand, this is another little secret. They're all secondhand. They're used. This is what people don't tell you. Okay. They're telling you they're buying knockoffs. They're not buying knockoffs. They're buying used clothing. Okay. So again, going back to poor Thai versus middle class Thai, this is where poor shop. You will not see a middle class Thai down in those places. Okay. Middle class and above, you're seeing them in the regular stores in the mall buying brand name shirts and stuff like that. Now that might not bother you. Sometimes it don't bother me. I see a really cool pair of pants and it looks practically brand new. Lots of time for me, I don't care. I'll give you 100 baht for it. You know what I mean? But what I really want to point out, if you want to shop just like you do in your country, you're gonna spend around the same thing. My friend, like it might be a little bit cheaper for you. You might be able to save in different sections of your budget. But I really just want to point out that it can be easy to spend money here, just not on the girl side. Okay. You make sense? Like if you go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, Burger King, McDonald's, it's the same price as your country. You go to Starbucks, the same price as your country. You know what I mean? So that's why I mean, you really have to kind of really determine what your lifestyle is going to be, what you really want to do. That's why I tell you is, you know, maybe even upping it to 2,000, 25, 3,000. Like if you had a $3,000 budget here, you can pretty much do anything you want. Again, depending upon what your rent is. You know what I mean? If you're paying a $1,500 rent, a $2,000 rent, I mean that leaves you again. That leaves you only $1,000 to live on, which that's going to be a tighter budget for you, even at 3,000. You understand, my friend? So, but with that, I think I kind of talked enough about that. Kind of and give you some scenarios here and there, and I won't talk too much. This video is already like 36 minutes. But hopefully that helps. You know, comment below if you have questions. I'll answer them. I know this was more of a rant, but I just want to share some things off the top of my head. Remember, down below in the description, I'll attach 3, 4, 5 videos that go along with that, where I'm kind of being a little bit more on track, either using a PowerPoint or getting nitty gritty on my budget and stuff like that. So check those videos out. But other than that, thanks for tuning in. And maybe I'll see you in Thailand if you're here. Depending upon where I'm at, we'll see. Right now, at one time, I did go over and check out Da Nang. I've been over there for a week. Da Nang was really nice. It was nice. They had a fantastic beach. It was crazy clean compared to Thailand. We've been to Thailand beaches. Crazy clean. The main road that kind of goes through that follows the beach was super clean. But I went over there in August. August is like their Sangran time in Thailand. Sangran in Thailand is April. April's the hottest month. It's literally like hell hot here. So August was kind of like hell hot in Vietnam and Da Nang. But Da Nang was really nice. I did think about even shooting over to Da Nang, and even for a few months, just to kind of see how it is to live over there for a few months. So there was some kind of talks into doing that, and I had some talks into talking to myself. You know what I mean? Talks into moving over to Dubai. Okay. Just because, like, honestly, with Dubai, yes, Dubai is going to be more expensive than Thailand, but depending upon where you live in Thailand, it's not that big of a jump to move over to Dubai. Yes, all the way around, it's going to be more expensive, but Dubai is cleaner, it's safer. There's zoning laws. This is kind of getting off budget, but that's one of the things with Thailand. There are no zoning laws, meaning like you could be paying 30,000 baht for a condo, and right beside your condo is a Thai apartment that Thai people pay 3,000 baht a month to live there. And it's noisy. They throw trash all over the place. You know what I mean? Like that's what I mean by zoning laws. Sometimes that bothers me because you get tired of it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just want to go somewhere where they don't do that. Like they kind of respect their country and stop throwing trash all over. I mean, that's kind of my pet peeve a little bit. So that's why I kind of thought about Dubai. When I did go over to Da Nang, I mean, at least the places I saw in Da Nang for a week. Again, I didn't live over there, so I only went there for a week. I mean, my knowledge for 1 week is practically nothing. You know what I mean? But what I saw, it was cleaner than Thailand. Or at least they kept Da Nang clean. You understand? Now, I don't know if it's clean year-round, whatnot, but what I saw, they seem to keep it pretty clean. So that's kind of in the works. We'll see what happens. And right now, like up here, like maybe like 4 months ago, we got puppies. So now going somewhere, I gotta think about the puppies. It's like thinking about kids, you know what I mean? So I gotta think about the puppies and kind of what to do with them. Now, if I live in Thailand, it's easy. I just bring them along. But if I, go to Da Nang, Dubai, whatever, to really live, not just to go over there and see, to go over there and visit or do a short little vacation, It's kind of like, do I bring the puppies with me? I probably will. But there's 2 of them, and this is another kind of, I wasn't going to share this, but oh well. If you're sticking around this long, you can listen to it. I just feel like talking about it. Even Aang said this, not even me. This is coming from Aang. I mean, she was just kind of like, she even told me, like, if we go somewhere for a month or 2 months, if we let my dad like take care of the puppies, like when we come back here, they might be dead. And I was like laughing, but she was like, no, I'm serious. Like, they, you know, that's the only thing you see with Thai local, especially poverty. You know, like sometimes there's no, what do I want to say? There's no responsibility from them. There's no, I mean, they sometimes you come in, they don't take care of anything. If things break, they just leave it broken. I mean, it's, you know what I mean? So that's what kind of makes me feel bad about the puppies, because like, even that was coming from Aang. That wasn't even me saying that stuff. You know what I mean? Aang was saying it. Like wherever we go, we got to take the puppies because they're not going to survive up here. You know, either my dad won't feed them, or my dad will let them out, go to the road, or there's, I mean, again, that's kind of what you see, a culture difference is, not all Thai, okay, but some Thai. You just see that poverty consciousness. You just see there's no responsibility in anything. You know what I mean? So that's kind of in the works, kind of in my thoughts and stuff like that. But anyway, Thailand fan tribe. Just want to share those thoughts with you. Hopefully it helped. If it didn't, oh well. But anyway, comment below if you have questions. I'll try my best to answer them. If not, my contact information is in the description. Check that out. Other than that, peace out. Remember, I love you guys, and I'll see you later.